I'm sitting here and I forgive me, I haven't been to basic in like 38 years, 37 years. But I'm hearing through the grapevine that basic training has counselors now. I was I practically fell off the seat that I was sitting on when I heard that. Basic training is basic training. It's designed to take a raw kid and turn them into a forged machine. A boy or a girl into a man or a woman. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Anything you can do in basic training, a kid can do. A little kid can do. Maybe not the physical demands. A 16-mile road march. I would maybe with a big old 50 to 60 pound rucksack on your back. But definitely doable. You don't need a counselor. Oh, we maybe the drill sergeant's picking on me. Meh, meh, meh. The drill sergeant's job, he's trained to turn you into a machine. Now, when you get later on, I can see a place for that. But in basic training, it's basic training. Weapons qualification, low crawling, physical, taking you from a piece of mush and turning you into a useful piece of equipment for the military, whether it be the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines. It doesn't matter what branch of the military you're going into. It's designed, even the Navy, man. Sorry. The Navy's tough too, man. You're out on the water. I mean, it's a little more, man is not a fish. I can understand why the physical restraints are a little more lax. But then you go be a Navy SEAL and all that doesn't matter. That's all out the window. Like my son, my boy, my pride and joy over there. Yeah, you bet. The basic training is basic training. Just say it to yourself. 2 words. Basic. Basic. What does basic mean? Basic means AB, 1, 2. Basic training to physically and emotionally and mentally turn you into something different. That's it. AB, 1, 2, turn you into something different. Period. You don't need to be pussyfooted around or handheld for 8 to 12 weeks, depending upon what branch you're in. When I went into the service in '89, okay, first of all, my last name starts with a T. And back then, I don't know about now because it's been that long since I was in basic, but back then they did everything alphabetical. So when it came time to shower, it was cold because it was all hot water heater. So the A through H, oh great, they got a warm shower. We were all limited on our shower time, but by the time it didn't matter. By the time you're at T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, you got cold water. And if you walked out to formation and you weren't shaved, you would be humiliated. So I learned to take a cold shower because I was in Kentucky. I went to Fort Knox for basic. And you go through, tell you physically, I'm growing up. My mother had a car phone when no one else knew what a car phone was. My mother had a Mercedes. My dad had a top of line Toyota, and then a conversion van. And I was given. I had Pong, and I had a Atari 2600. I had a 14-inch color television set in my room from birth. I was given all the privileges. I had a moose goose because by the time I could ride a bike, I was almost 6 feet tall anyway. I'm a little bit over 6'4" now. But by the time I was in so basically I was everything. I was given everything, and I was also given an allowance, and the allowance just stay out of trouble. Here's a gas card. If you get low on gas, here the insurance was in the glove compartment. And I had a convertible Mustang. That was my first car, was a convertible 64 and a half red Mustang. And my biological father cherried it out for me. Tried to buy my love because of the way he treated me earlier in my life. I liked him a lot. Who wouldn't? And then with my $50 that I got a week, I was a speakerhead. Back then, it was all power. But I was soft. And when I got the basic, it was I knew by the time I got to when I was in the other half of my senior year, I knew I was screwed. When I decided I wasn't going to go to Tarleton State on the scholarship they offered me, and my options were limited. I knew that the only way I was ever going to become a man is to go through the military. I didn't know what basic training was going to be about. I saw Gomer Pyle. Golly, come on, Sergeant Carter. I thought it was going to be fun. Then no. U.S. Army, even the U.S. Army, which isn't really everyone knows the Marines is harder. Special Forces is harder, but basic training for basic recruits in the Army in '89 was very, very hard. The only way a kid today should now they got counselors and facing basic. Oh my mom, I miss my mommy. Oh my God, I'm scared. I'm 55. I'm ready to go fight if they need me to. But you know, if this is what we're sending kids out into the field to fight for us, they have a counselor in basic. It's called basic training. If you can't suck it up for 8 to 12 weeks, then you got no business. Back then, if the only way to get out is to wash out. Now you can quit basic. You can quit. You can go to the counselor and get out. Now back then you couldn't do it. Back then, the only way to get out is to wash out. And if you wash out, you've pretty much written your ticket for the rest of your life. You're going to be labeled a quitter and a loser at every job or every career you ever have. If you once you agree to sign on the dotted line in 1989, that don't have rhymes. You sign on the line in '89. Once you sign on that line in '89, your butt's no longer mine. It's U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Space Force, whatever. It's not designed to be easy. You have to, but it's not permanent either. It's 8 to 12 weeks. Just take it one step at a time. You want to prove that you're going to be a strong human being? Cut it in basic. You only got to do it once. You never have to do it again. Even if you go prior service to a different branch of the military, you're not going to go through basic training again. You just have to learn a few things, but you don't have to do that anymore. So it's just 8 to 12 weeks, one time in your life where you can prove to yourself once and for all that you are all you can be in the military. It doesn't matter what branch. I have mad respect for every service there is. I tease the Navy, but I really can't anymore. My son finished SEAL school, so I'm proud of him. Damn proud of him. Now I can understand how when you get to AIT school, you have a counselor because you're no longer part of a daily PT till you drop, emotional abuse situation. When you get to AIT school, they start training you in your mission of specialty, MOS, mission of specialty. When I went in and when I went to my AIT school, it was in '90 because I'd already made the basic. I went through basic. No, it was '89. I went to my second MOS school because they needed a 911 Bravos, which was paramedics. And they had a slot available for the top of the Alpha school, the medical specialist, and I was at the top. I was never the brightest bulb in the closet, but if my light was on, you could definitely find your jeans. I was never the sharpest pencil in the pencil box, but you could definitely sharpen me to a nice point. So I was always finishing at the top of every school I ever went to. And when I went to AIT school, yeah, I could have. Now I think they had them then. I didn't, but I was as a kid, I had really, really bad ADHD, and they put me. They were trying all kinds of, and it was new. It was relatively new back then, 79, 80, 81, and they were trying everything to solve the problem. And they would give me medication, and it wouldn't work. And the doctor's like, "Well, we had this new thing we're trying." Where we hook your kid up to a bunch of diodes, knock them out with medicine, and then shock them for half an hour to an hour. So I did this every week for like a year. And then just today, I'm finally realizing that I can lock something down mentally last night, and today it's gone. because of the it didn't now the truth is, for a little while the shock treatments helped a little, but in the long run they're still not worth it because my short-term memory is screwed right now. Now my point I'm trying to make is I didn't know that when I was in IT school that I remember I passed the class. I would have been number one in my class if I could. I mean, I finished top three, always top three. But if I would have known that, I would if I mean I was beat up. It bothered me that the guy next to me was a little smarter, or why couldn't I remember? I got so mad and frustrated. We still didn't have a counselor in AIT school. Now I can understand the placement of a counselor in AIT school. I would have liked to have had somebody to talk to tell how I was, because AIT school, you've already proven your stripe. You've already gotten your stripe. You could use somebody to talk to because it's important. I mean, it's not basic anymore. It's something complicated. You know, it's basic medical specialist. It's paramedic. It's mortuary affairs specialist, which is what I was best at. But anyway, I can understand having a counselor there, you know. But today's army, today's military, they have counselors in basic training. It's basic training. If you can't suck it up for 8 to 12 weeks of your life and just take one day at a time and just get through it, then you don't have any business going into the military in the first place. Go to college. Go get a job at freaking at the PetSmart. You know, we need people that know about puppies. You know, but we don't need you picking up an M16 and chickening out on the line, man. If you're a wuss, you ain't got the salt to be serving your country. You don't need to be going to basic training. But once you sign on that dotted line, you don't need a counselor. You need to just take one day at a time. Just know deep down that it's temporary. It's 8 to 12 weeks of your life, one day at a time, and just know deep down, if I can cut this, I can cut anything. This whole thing having a counselor in basic training. Am I hearing right? You guys out there that are if you're getting this message and you guys out there are military, am I wrong? This whole message is just my venting. Today's video is about me venting that I'm just disgusted that our army or our military has gotten that soft. I didn't have a counselor. I didn't need one. It was hard, man. My girlfriend, my wife and I was missing my wife. In basic, my heart hurt, but I sucked it up and I made it. It was hard. I missed her, and I didn't love my first wife like I love my wife now. But still, I wouldn't have needed a counselor. Once you sign on that line, you need to stop thinking about, what about my feelings? What about my feelings? You need to forget about that crap. If you're gonna think you're gonna be hard, you gotta be hard. You're not gonna be hard with soft. You gotta be hard all the way through and through for 8 to 12 weeks of your life. And it's one time only. Seriously, basic is one time in your life. That's it. And if you can't suck it up and go through the training for 8 to 12 weeks without a counselor, you got no business being in the military. It infuriates me. This is who I have representing me over in freaking Iran? Is I don't know, Sergeant. I can't get out there and take care of it. I don't know if my nails might be messy or my hair's a mess. Oh my God, I just can't handle it. It's terrible. It's awful. And those of you guys that are getting your feelings hurt because I'm picking on you for being a little effeminate, I'll have you know my battle buddy was gay. And back then it was don't ask, don't tell. He was gay. And he was as hard gets, and he made it. His name was George Young. If you're out there by some miracle of a chance, you're getting this. I love you, man. I miss you. I hope you're doing good, brother. I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope everything's good at the racetrack. He got a job as a paramedic at a racetrack. He took his 911 Bravo and ran with it and made a lifetime career out of it. Love you, man. Gayest dude I ever met. He would look at dudes like, and of course, it was our secret, and I knew. He told me, I remember we went through basic and AIT together, and we became battle buddies after that other guy that stabbed me in the back that I talked about in another video. And we were sitting at the Riverwalk, and he's like, I gotta tell somebody. I can't just keep this to myself. And I go, what's up, man? What's up, bro? What's up? You can tell me anything. He's like, dude, I'm gay. And this was like 91, maybe 90, 91. And I was like, see, I had a gay aunt growing up, you know, my Aunt Allison was gay. And so I was woke before woke was woke. I was like, so you stole my battle buddy. I still love you, man. I'll still take a bullet for you. I'll just keep your secret. Really? And I was like, yeah. He goes, so can I talk about cute guys that walk around? I go, as long as you don't expect a reaction out of me, because I don't dig dudes. I like girls, man. I'm married. And he's like, deal. And he's like, can you at least tell me if you think he's handsome or not? I said, yeah, I can tell if a dude's handsome without wanting to jump his bones. And so I would be looking, and she's cute. I had a thing for Latinas even then. And he had a thing for dudes. He's like, I like the way his pants fit his butt. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty fit, dude. Yeah, he's like, and he had a boyfriend that was in the Marines. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with you being gay, but he was hard enough to make through basic and AIT school. He just put his panties in his wall locker until it was time to finish until he graduated from basic training. I'm fine with it. So I'm not picking on you guys, but I'm picking on you guys that are just, oh my God, I can't handle this. I don't know about this. He made me drop and give him 25. I don't know. I didn't know if he meant 25 push-ups or $25. Seriously, if you can't suck it up for 8 to 12 weeks, you got no business in the military. Am I wrong, guys? Is there a counselor in basic? I can't get a straight answer on it. And if there is, I'm face planting it, man. If there is a freaking counselor in basic. It's just 8 to 12 weeks, man. It's 8 to 12 freaking weeks of basic training. Learning how to use an M16. Rifle drill, which is not just shooting, it's doing a little dance and things. I had trouble with it. I finally got it down. They needed to spend, and like I said, it's basic training. Everyone else, it came to natural. I needed a little extra tension, and I finally got it. And I was a terrible shot. Like I told you in another video, I finally got that too. Basic training. They just had to spend a little more time on me, but it was basic training. And I didn't need counselor. Oh, I'm a terrible shot. I don't know if I'm ever going to cut it. I'm just a big guy. I suck at everything I do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Basic training. Set you up for life, man. If you can make it for the basic, then you know for the rest of your life, you know you had the salt. You know your back was strong enough. You know you had nerves of steel long enough to survive it. Because right now, if we've got people that are going overseas to fight that were coddled through basic, I'm scared, man, of what's going to happen. It's scary. I'm not scared to fight. I mean, I was told that I had to hold myself to a certain decorum. I'm not allowed to attract attention. I've got to be discreet with what I'm doing now. But if I had to, and I was put up to it, I made it through basic. As a matter of fact, when they had the round robin tournament, and I had to box everybody, and I came in second, I knew I could fight too. And I wasn't oh yeah, you start that crap. I was never like that. I'm not like that. But deep down, I know that if it comes down to it, I can defend myself. And I'm good at it. I finished second. I lost to a guy that was 170 pounds. Wesley. I forget his last name. Dugan. Anyway, if you're out there, Wesley, I learned my lesson, man. I hope you're doing good. But anyway, if you and then when I made the IT school, I could have used a counselor. I was missing my girl. My feelings were hurt because my family never came to my basic. They never came to my IT graduation. They never came to my basic graduation. And even when I made it to the highest NCO rank for my MOS, and I got decorated for it, they weren't there either. I could have used a counselor for then. I already knew I was hard. I already knew that I was Army hard. I knew I had the stuff. But I could have used somebody to help me. Once you've made it through that basic training, when you're doing your regular assignment and you're going to school and you're dealing with regular life and you got bills to pay, yeah, okay, I can see it then. I could have used a counselor then, and I didn't have it either. But the thing is, I stuck with it, and because I finished basic training, I never lost confidence. No matter how things got, I always told myself, like, I made it through basic training. I could do this. I made it through basic training. Are you really making it through basic if you got to be coddled by a counselor? And then later on, when I was at my regular duty stations, I had several, because what they do, they'd send you out a little satellite of people, and you'd work I don't know how they do it today, but back in 2017 and before then, they sent you out a little satellite, and you just received an honorable transfer. Whoever got shot or killed, and if you were active duty, even if you were on leave, you still got your honorable transfer. You still got all the honors because you're active duty. And I handled that. And I was so good at it that they sent me to civilian mortuary school. so I could teach it in the classroom. And I did teach it in the classroom at Fort Drum, New York. I don't know where they do it now, but back then they did it in New York. And I also did it in San Antonio. My longest stint was at Fort Sam. That's when I found out. I didn't know who Selena was then, but when I met my now wife, I know who Selena is. But when Selena was killed by Yolanda, her name, all these cars were going around the base with looking like someone had just gotten married, except it was all about somebody had just been killed and hurt and permanently eliminated from life. But anyway, like I said, man, it was they sent me to school, and if what basic training did is basic training gave me confidence. I never lost, no matter how things got. I always look back and say I made it through basic training. But nowadays, if you need someone to hold your hand through basic, in my opinion, you didn't make it through basic training. So tell me, as I close out this video, guys, tell me today, am I right? Is basic training is it really and Gomer Pavel's gay? Is basic training does it have a counselor? Really? Or am I wrong? Or was I giving bad information? And if I'm giving bad information, whoo, am I glad to be wrong? If I'm giving correct information, what's this world coming to? Anyway, either way, guys, if you like what I had to say, please say so in the comments, and I'll take it to heart, and I'll keep making more videos like this. And if you want to criticize me, please feel free to do so, and I'll work on it. Either way, just remember that Jesus died for you, and to vote blue and get our country back before we lose it permanently. I love you guys. Jesus died for you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about AI and why it can be a good or a bad thing.